Hi, welcome back to the show. My guest today is electronic entertainment analyst, Mr. Alex Toaster. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's
Well,
great to
thank
have
you.
you. So, Toaster, you and I have talked in passing about, Microsoft and Nintendo and what's going on with them. And we don't know anything yet about, Microsoft. We still have to learn a little bit more May 21st. Nintendo, it sounds like they're having almost no presence at E3 at all. What I wanted to focus today on is Sony and where their position is, and talk about that. So first of all, let me ask you something: are we going to see a price or a date at E3 for the PlayStation 4? Like PS4 is a big deal, but are we going to see specifics on that?
I don't think they're going to be able. Or I don't think that's their main plan. I think their goal is to kind of show off what the system looks like to get the hype train going. But I still think they might at least give us a release date, but not for price, because they got to figure out what's going to help them in the
So
long
you,
run.
so you think maybe they're trying to be strategic against Microsoft and see what they're going for?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, there was that latest rumor that there could be a subsidized Microsoft next console where it would be like $300 if you paid for you'd sign up there and then 2 years you would get it's $15 a month. If they do that, how does Sony combat that?
I think Sony's going to do the opposite. I think they're going to stick with the free internet that way, because that's their biggest draw now, especially having the international, not region free stuff like that.
Right.
So I think that's what they do. They're just going to stick with the current business model, and that's what's going to keep the customers.
All right. Okay. Well, I mean, that's cool. I mean, now at the conference itself, PlayStation 4 is going to be a big part of it, but how much is the Vita going to be playing in? Because Vita's been doing kind of poorly. So,
Yeah.
do you think they're going to address that? Are we going to see a lot of focus on that? Is it 50-50 split? What do you think?
Well, Vita's still a baby system, and they are trying to get
It's a baby system because there's no games on it.
Well, it's yes, but it's still in like the first stages and stuff like that. So they want it to be one of the biggest companions and stuff for the PS4, and so I think that they are going to show off a lot of the Vita. I mean, they already said like the Telltale Walking Games is going to be on it. They have a lot of indie developers and stuff like that. So I do think that there's going to be a strong push at E3 leading up to the PS4.
Like, are we going to see a lot of Vita PS4 connectivity? Like, I know that they were hinting at it last time, but are we going to see more of that?
Yeah, they've already said that they're going to make sure that every game is playable on the Vita. I'm just not sure if they got all the bugs and stuff worked out, but they said since day one out of the box, it'll be able to do that.
Now, I mean, this generation for Sony, we've seen them go through a lot of problems. Like, we saw a high price point at the beginning. We saw security issues with the big hack that was pretty famous. What issues from the PlayStation era do you think Sony has learned the most from that they're planning for the PS4?
I think their main thing is the system itself. Like they used all their own components and stuff in order to create the ultimate system, but now they're working with developers, and so that's going to be a main thing. It's just a system that developers can use just first and foremost. As for the stuff that you talked about, yes, they are revamping the security, going with a whole new, different security features.
Right.
But I think they're going to kind of stay the same.
Okay, well that's cool. I mean, now let me say, in the past we've seen first parties snatching up a lot of third parties. In the very beginning of this generation, we saw Microsoft going in really strong, snatching up titles that had never been on it, like Ace Combat and Tekken, and even Final Fantasy, which was a huge upset. Are we going to see first parties, fighting for exclusives? Like, will Sony be buying anything from the big, third-party developers? Do we expect that?
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to try to do, because that's kind of what they did with the PS2, and they kind of want to have free reign on that, as well as making the system easy to develop for. Is kind of enticing them to come over this way, so that they don't have to spend an arm and a leg to get the titles.
Now, there's another issue that's been coming up, which is the iPad and iOS market. They've been opening up a lot of free-to-play games and dollar games. Can we expect a pricing structure to change? Are we going to see not only just $60 retail games, but maybe lower priced, or like a stream of them, or is it going to just be $60, $5, and then $1?
I'm not exactly sure what their pricing plan is. With the mobile games, it's usually for more casual, and Sony is really focusing on their hardcore, their dedicated Sony people.
Now, E3 specifically, since we're running out of time, are you expecting, what is the game you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to Killzone and just kind of like just their launch titles to begin with. So,
Well, Alex, it was great having you on the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. I'm Blake the Great, signing off.